Well, good Thursday afternoon, everybody. Meteorologist Greg Majewski back with you here in the North Georgia Majestic Weather Studios with your Talking Live forecast update here on your February the 5th, 2026. Well, the clouds were a little slow to get on out here across East Tennessee, still lingering a bit across North Georgia, but we are going to see a little more sunshine as we go in for tomorrow, and it looks like it will be briefly milder. We still have another cold front to have to deal with for the weekend, but I do promise you a nice warm-up as we go into next week. Now, before we get rolling in this full update, if you're new here to the Talking Live Broadcast Channel Facebook page, please give us a follow. And if you happen to be watching over on YouTube, as always, please hit that subscribe button. And very importantly, hit that notification bell so you're alerted on future updates. Because if you don't, YouTube will not alert you to our weather updates. All right, let's go ahead and take a live look there in Chattanooga. Finally got the sunshine out there. Got some few high clouds, but things not looking too bad. A bit on the cool side there for today. Very winter-like here across East Tennessee. North Georgia up toward Lake Chattooga, still holding on to the clouds here, but expect some late day clearing here as well as the cloud deck over northern Georgia is starting to erode a bit. Radar is all clear. We actually had snow flurries across a big portion of North Georgia this afternoon, even getting down into the metro Atlanta area here for this afternoon, but things are drying out now. And again, we're in store for a better day for tomorrow as temperatures rebound just a little bit. Take a look at that regional satellite. You have it on visible imagery here. You can see those clouds lingering here across North Georgia. They are starting to erode. East Tennessee's not looking too bad. Got a few high clouds that might sneak back in here for tonight. So we're going to keep the skies generally partly cloudy for tonight, but more sunshine expected as we go throughout the day for your Friday as we wrap up the work week. Looking at your regional perspective there, you've seen a little bit of precipitation up there across portions of Kentucky and into Tennessee. That's not really going to amount to much. Look at this trough line that's kind of hanging back in here as we're kind of continuing this northwesterly flow. We've got one more cold front we got to track going into Friday night and Saturday that may bring us some additional snows across the Smoky Mountains, maybe getting into North Georgia. But once that system goes by here for this upcoming weekend, a big abrupt pattern change is going to happen. And we're going to see some significant warming, especially going into Monday and Tuesday of next week. All right, let's go look at our latest model data here as we take a look at this, as we're looking at the latest 12Z North American model here. As we're going to see those blue lines begin to move on off, at least to the northeast briefly. We're still waiting on that one more front that's going to be coming in there on Friday. You can see it kind of sneaking down here as we're going to see that precipitation increasing here across areas of the Smoky. So we are looking at some upslope snows as we got that cold air coming down there. It's pretty cold Arctic air up here toward the north and to the east there. So that's going to be kind of hanging in there a little bit. So a little bit unsettled. A little snows there across North Georgia, potentially there a little bit. Won't really amount to a whole lot, but that'll keep that northwest flow. You see all those cold lines in there. Very, very cold air right up in here. But that's going to begin to retreat and move on out as we go through the weekend. So as we go into Sunday, you're going to start seeing those blue lines start to lift ever so slowly back off toward the north as that warm air is going to kind of kick in here as we go late in the day on Sunday. And again, with a bit of a westerly and southwesterly wind blowing back in here, things will warm up nicely next week. I promise you, we got some 60s in the forecast, and you're going to absolutely love it. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at our forecast map here as we kind of go through the period here. Watch that little time stamp there. This is from our friends at the National Weather Service office as we kind of go in here into your Friday. Again, looking pretty quiet there, but we got that to the front. See, they're up front, upstream here. Going to watch this thing to come on through. Still got one more cold shot to deal with as this comes on down. And it's an Arctic front coming on in there as well. So, again, the bulk of it's going to stay up toward the north and east, but we're going to get a glancing blow with this going into Saturday. Sunday, we start to recover just a little bit. There's that high sits over Pennsylvania. And then going into Monday, the recovery starts to happen here. You see that westerly wind, that warm front kicking back in here. Here's the high pressure. So we get that, again, the clockwise flow there, kicking the winds out from the west. That's going to warm things up for us. And then that'll continue into Tuesday as well. Wednesday might bring some showers in the forecast. Got a low rain chance there. And going into Thursday, some question marks on that Friday forecast. Could be a Friday, Saturday, could be a more substantial storm system. American GFS just came in as a little bit on the weaker side. European was pretty robust with it overnight. So we got to track the next weather system going in toward the end of next week. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at our forecast here as we're looking at sunshine. Promise you tomorrow, 56 degrees after a morning low of 28. So sunny and milder, definitely looking about 10 degrees warmer that we're seeing here for a lot of areas here for Thursday compared to Friday. And your overnight low temperatures mostly here in the 20s. It'll be partly cloudy, so we'll keep some high clouds around. Wind should settle down overnight a little bit, except for North Georgia. Might see some lingering winds still there across North Georgia. And then your daytime highs, a nice recovery back in the 50s, abundant sunshine again. No north wind at 5, perhaps gusting up to 20 miles per hour here a little bit here into the afternoon. Regionally looking like this, a brief warm-up across the southeast, especially those northeasterly zones, but those will turn colder going into Saturday at least. But 54 in Nashville, 60 in Columbus, 68 in Jackson, 64 in Destin, 62 in Jacksonville. Next 7 days, here we go, looking like this, as again, we got a drop-off in temperatures there on Saturday thanks to that one more front coming on through, so 46, 32. Then we can recover once again, 57, 26, but look at that, into the upper 60s going into next week, and then we'll track that rain chance going into Wednesday and Thursday. Not overly high right now at the moment, but definitely going to say goodbye to winter. So it looks like the last real kind of chilly-ish type morning will be Monday morning, and then we'll see some mild weather here going for next week as we get a little bit of break from the wintertime period. It looks like the above normal temperature trend, at least right now, what the Climate Prediction Center is expecting is for that to continue here deeper into the month. I do suspect maybe toward the last week in February, before we officially get into spring, we may see some additional cold weather. But overall, looks like we're going to see above normal temperatures. All right. Anyway, that's y'all's update for today. I appreciate you guys checking us out here on the Talking Live broadcast channel. Make sure you give us a follow over there on Facebook and on YouTube. Please hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you're alerted on all future weather updates. All right, that's it for today. You guys take it easy, be good, stay safe, and we'll see you tomorrow. You guys have a great day. Bye-bye.